Welcome to a Speed Vegas Sim Racing Community Q&A video. I really wanted to take the time and write down some common questions I get being an instructor, and I even wrote a script so my squirrel brain doesn't go off on too many tangents. So the most common questions I get start with, can we run the cars in race mode? The reason for this question is usually followed up with, isn't that the mode with the most power? While it can translate into quicker lap times, the reasoning is different than usually understood. These modes only function as safety nets in the way that traction control, stability control, the anti-lock braking system work for you. They don't limit the power of the car. Okay, that's very important to realize. So, for instance, on our racetrack, the final corner that leads onto the straightaway, you're usually coming out of that corner around 35 miles an hour. And when you begin to accelerate down that straightaway, no matter what mode you're in, you're probably going to hit the maximum speed, if you obviously stay on the gas the whole time, of about 130 miles an hour, no matter if you're in sport mode or race mode. These modes only do the job of preventing a loss of control, typically by taking data from the wheel speed sensors not being within parameters, and will make the corrections using the braking system or briefly limiting power from the engine, preventing a loss of traction. When you apply each input on their own, meaning you accelerate in a straight line, you brake in a straight line, or you focus on the rotation of the car with the steering wheel, without adding either of those first two variables, you'll have minimum intrusion from those safety nets, and in return, have a much more predictable car. And a more predictable car makes a more confident driver. So, the difference between race mode and sport mode, or wet mode, track mode, there's many more, really comes into play more so when the transition from one input leading into the next input is abrupt or surprising. So, the examples would be like stabbing the brakes while turning in, or smashing the gas without unwinding the wheel. I cannot tell you how many times I hear people say things like smash the gas, or just using that word in general to describe anything driving related. Smashing, just delete that from the vocabulary when talking about driving. And in some rare instances, pressing both the brake pedal and the gas pedal at the same time, which isn't common, but I've seen it all. Which leads me to, I left foot brake on my sim or my own vehicle. Should I left foot brake here? I will typically tell my drivers that I personally don't care what foot you brake with, as long as your braking technique is accurate. However, most people tend to have more dexterity in their right leg, and when you're in a new environment, like a vehicle you've never driven before, more specifically press the brakes, your right foot might be the go-to choice to more quickly and accurately learn what the brake pedal feels like. And pressing the brakes properly isn't usually the hardest part to get right. It's usually the brake release that tends to struggle. But your left foot can still have a purpose. Most cars have a dead or rest pedal on the left side of the pedal box, and if you're not wearing a harness or in a custom bucket seat, the left foot can play a vital role in keeping you stable in your seat just by simply pressing on that dead pedal, creating some tension, having a third point of contact, keeping you upright and focused. Proper braking technique usually just takes more focus to get right over some other aspects of driving on a racetrack, such as shifting. Should I drive the car in auto or PDK mode? Because the car can think faster than me. There's no denying that modern transmission technology is incredible, and driving a new supercar on a racetrack in its automatic shifting mode for a few laps is not going to hinder your experience. But you're the one with the eyes, not the gearbox. So it bases its shifts not on its surroundings, but on mathematics.
4 minus 1, that's 3, quick maths.
When driving on a racetrack, it's much easier to figure out how fast you can take a corner by learning what gear to be in, rather than what speed you should be going. This is where a coach that knows the track can have a crucial role in taking a lot of the guesswork out on which gear to be in for which corner early on so you can get up to speed faster. There's a stigma around sim racing when you come and drive a very expensive car on a racetrack, and I've heard it all. For me personally, I think of it as just a different discipline of motorsport. Some things may translate over, but not everything. So introducing yourself to a coach with a modest approach can make the experience way more enjoyable for both. We do thousands of laps every single month in these cars, and we know how to extract the car's performance. But you're the one driving, so to be perfectly honest with you, our enjoyment really only comes from something that we've taken the time to learn and teach you and watch you apply it. So with that being said, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, do those things, and I'd like to make more of these. I've got a lot of ideas, and these take a while. I'm learning very quickly, but hopefully we can put some out because I really do enjoy this stuff, and I think merging the sim racing community and the track day community, or however far you want to take it, is really important, and it's just such a natural progression in both directions, to be honest with you. So hope to see you guys in the next one. We'll keep working on these. See you later.